Before I tell you why the vegan diet is inadequate, I want to tell you about a YouTuber called Vegan Gains. Now, Vegan Gains is a huge stepping stone for me, and I'll tell you how. I had a bodybuilding phase. That's initially how I got into nutrition. I wanted to build muscle as a young boy. When I stumbled upon veganism, Vegan Gains videos started to influence me in the direction of health. Of course, one of the arguments that vegans use when it comes to why you should transition over to a vegan diet is health related. They show studies showing that a vegan diet is more healthy, which is actually total bullshit. And then they convince people to go vegan. I was a victim of this nonsense, and now I'm gonna share with you why the vegan diet is, why you can dismiss it immediately just through one sentence. If you ever argue with a vegan, the only thing you have to do to win the argument is this. Ask them, can you follow a whole foods vegan diet and still be healthy without taking any supplements? If they say yes, that means that a human being can live, according to them, without B12. Okay. Now, B12 isn't the only thing that they're not getting, but B12 is the most apparent thing to vegans. They'll argue about cholesterol and saturated fat and vitamin D, because you need cholesterol for vitamin D. You won't get enough vitamin D from the sun even if you don't consume dietary cholesterol. Now, if they say no, they'll argue that supplements are still there and you can use them so that you don't have to kill animals. Well, let me tell you something. First of all, you're saying that your diet is inadequate if you need supplements. That's it. Supplements are here, the diet is here. They are two separate things. Your diet is the foods, the whole foods that you eat, the things that you consume. A supplement is a drug, okay? A supplement is a drug. It's not a part of your diet. It's not a food. Although it says vitamins and minerals on the packaging, it's not actually a food. It's a pharmaceutical. And if you need to take it, that means that your diet is inadequate, okay? So that means that they're admitting that the vegan diet is completely inadequate. Because remember, if you need to take supplements, your diet is inadequate. Bar none. You can't argue against that. Now, the vegans will say, okay, but your point doesn't make any sense. Okay, maybe it's not a part of the diet, but we can still take supplements and we can get everything that we need. So that means we don't need to kill any animals, right? Yeah, well, the thing is, supplements are toxic. They're toxic pharmaceuticals. They're not a nutrient. Now, a vegan might go get a blood test, and all their values are correct. But let me tell you something. Let me give you an example that is very enlightening. If you take Accutane, which is a drug with many side effects, it's synthetic vitamin A. It's usually used to treat acne, hence the name Accutane. If you take that, your vitamin A levels on a blood panel will show up as very good. Even if you haven't eaten any vitamin A or beta-carotene, for that matter, in your diet, if you take that drug, you will still have adequate vitamin A levels, right? And we know that that synthetic vitamin A, is extremely toxic, right? So, if this vitamin A supplement is toxic, why do you think that any of the other supplements that claim to be an actual nutrient are healthy, are not giving you these problems? In fact, if you study chemistry, you'll know that if you're synthesizing a molecule, it's absolutely impossible to get the exact replica of the molecule, for 100% of the production. Usually, it's 50% of that molecule and then 50% of the mirror image of that molecule, okay? So you know how we have hands? So 50% of the molecules will look like this, and 50% of the molecules will look like this. And that's why many of the drugs that we use have these insane side effects, because this guy is actually doing the purported thing that it says on the packaging. So if you have a headache and you take paracetamol, this is the molecule that is actually going to block the nerve signals, because it's a painkiller. Paracetamol is a painkiller. Then this molecule is the one that's going to do the liver damage. This one is also going to do the liver damage, but this one is the more dangerous one. And so according to my chemistry teacher, if you want to get 100% of the right mirror image, so you don't want the mirror image that is bad, that's very expensive, okay? And so most pharmaceutical companies don't do this. And the ones who are producing supplements, dietary supplements, are pharmaceutical companies, because these are drugs, okay? You make them the same way. Maybe they're a bit easier to produce depending on which method you use, and I'll get into the other method shortly. But when it comes to synthesizing something, then I mean, it's a pharmaceutical company and you're gonna have the mirror image and it's gonna be dangerous. Okay, so you can use an industrial byproduct and you can do some chemical processing on it, and you can get a molecule that resembles vitamin C or B12 or whatever it might be, okay? You can do that. And that's, again, Accutane. Accutane is made that way. Then you've got taking food, finding the food that contains the nutrient that you want, and then extracting the nutrient from that food. Now this might seem simple, but let me tell you something. When I was studying chemistry, I did assignments on extraction. And extraction is really, really complicated. When you're trying to isolate one thing from a very complex thing, that's really complicated, and it takes many, many steps. Now, do you know what these steps entail? These steps entail a bunch of chemicals like kerosene and hexane, extractors, solvents, okay? It involves heating, cooling down, this and that. It involves many things. Now imagine taking a tomato and doing this insane chemical processing on it, and then saying that the byproduct of all of this shit that we did is healthy because this is vitamin C. Yeah, we're gonna call this vitamin C or B12 or vitamin E because it is, right? It is. It is all of these nutrients that we say that it is because it resembles the thing that was in that food. Okay, vegans trust synthesis and extraction. They trust these nutrients, okay? And let me tell you something. If you take these nutrients, if you take them through supplements, and you check your blood, you will see good levels in your blood, okay? Your blood tests will be alright. But that doesn't mean that that molecule is working the way it's supposed to. Again, the B12 in a supplement is vastly different from the B12 found in raw liver. And I think that anyone with common sense when it comes to nutrition will realize this, because heat and chemicals do things to these things, and human methods of synthesis and extraction are absolutely not perfect. And if you believe that they're perfect, then you don't know anything about chemistry. If you followed along, then you know that supplements are not an alternative in today's world. They do not work the way the nutrients do in food. The nutrients in food are part of a very delicate and complex system, and they're bound to many other different molecules, and they're delivered in a very specific way inside of the body. And you can't mess that up. Even cooking messes that up to a degree, okay? And remember, humans are the only animal that cooks. And no, cooking doesn't make the human species special, otherwise the Inuits would not have developed the way they did. But they did. Then they only eat raw meat, okay? And their brain is just as functioning as yours. It's probably even better because it doesn't contain any pollution. And I'm not talking about the Inuits from like 150 years ago. Today's Inuits are not. I mean, the government subsidized bullshit, that's what they're eating. So if supplements are toxic and trash, and a vegan diet is missing many nutrients that a human being needs, the most common one being B12, and I'm emphasizing B12 because any vegan will agree to B12, they won't agree to anything else, then a vegan diet will lead to degeneration. And let me tell you something, that is a part of nature. If you decide to not kill the animal, you will degrade, you will degenerate. If you decide to kill the animal, to eat the animal, you will not degenerate and the animal will be killed. There is no right and wrong here. Nature doesn't give a shit about your decision. It's just that either you or the animal will continue to live. You will live for longer if you eat plants, but still, then you're killing the plant. You're always sacrificing something. And trust me, the plant is alive. The plant is alive. Anything that has a system for recognizing its environment has consciousness, because they're essentially the same thing. I can get into this later. But if you treat an animal well throughout its life, you cherish it, you treat it respectfully again, and you decide to painlessly kill it for the benefit of yourself and your community, you take life to give life, then there's nothing wrong with that. Lastly, I want to touch upon epidemiology, which is the study of people, and vegans use these sorts of studies to say that vegans have a lower risk of all-cause mortality, a lower risk of heart attacks, a lower risk of stroke, a lower risk of diabetes. Let me tell you something, all of these things are true. If Vegan Gains says that vegans have a lower risk of all of these things, then he's probably correct. And let me tell you why. Because these vegans and vegetarians are generally going to be healthier than people following the standard American diet. Okay, usually you go vegetarian for health reasons. You're more health conscious if you go vegetarian. You're more health conscious if you go vegan. You are able to control yourself if you're able to stay on a diet without any animal products. That means you're not gonna smoke, you're not gonna drink as much alcohol, you're not going to do things that lead to degeneration if you have that type of self-control. The fact that these people are more health conscious and have more self-control isn't the only issue. The thing is, the meat eaters that they're being compared to are actually eating the standard American diet. So when you have a study where the meat eaters are eating the standard American diet, which really doesn't consist of any meat, it's just seed oils, sugar, pesticides, grains, just a bunch of junk food. And then you have the vegans and vegetarians who are consuming a bunch of healthy plant foods. Now, of course, if you compare the risk of CVD, the risk of all-cause mortality, the risk of cancer, the risk of diabetes between these two groups, one group who is eating the standard American diet, which are labeled as meat eaters, and vegans and vegetarians, obviously the vegans and vegetarians are going to have lower rates of all of these things I just listed. That's very obvious because their diet is much better than the standard American diet. Again, if I had to choose between the vegan diet and the standard American diet, obviously I would choose the vegan diet. Yeah, they're both shit, but this one is much better. I'm not only making this video opposing veganism, telling you to avoid it like the plague because I've had a bad experience with it. I'm also doing this because countless people have had bad experiences with the vegan diet. They get lured in for health reasons, okay, environment too, and ethical reasons too. Those are on the side, so they increase the chance of you going vegan, and then you go vegan and then you mess yourself up completely, and then eventually when you feel like you've degenerated enough, you go back to animal products because you see that animal products have saved countless people who went on such a diet and basically healed themselves. Again, I was a vegan for 2 years. I messed up myself completely. The main thing was my digestive system, and again, I did a very good vegan diet. I ate only whole foods. I was very strict, no junk food. I even fasted for certain periods. I took all the supplements that you would need, especially B12. I took a pill of B12 a day, methylcobalamin even, not cyanocobalamin. I had all the details correct. I even checked my blood several times. I had no deficiencies. Yes, no deficiencies. I ate everything good imaginable that you can eat on the vegan diet, and trust me, didn't work. Didn't work at all. Messed myself up. I only got rid of everything when I went raw primal, Augenus Wonderplant style. That man is a godsend, and I am so thankful to have found him. If you don't know who he is, watch this video to start with and then go listen to his lectures, especially if you're a struggling vegan. If you're not, listen to him anyway. His dietary knowledge is impeccable. With that said, I hope this helped you. It was nice talking to you, and go and achieve excellent health. I know you can do it.